All right. Sorry, Tyson. Apologize for
Good.
the delay. How you doing this afternoon?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. How was practice today?
It was good. A lot of energy out there today. Got to put the pads on for the second time this spring. Kind of getting ready for some of the scrimmages we have coming up. So it was good to see players improve, like on their assignments and stuff like that. And physicality level definitely went up today.
And with you specifically, Tyson, clearly there's some similarities to what you did before under last year's offense. I mean, you still have to run the ball effectively, you still have to block effectively, you still have to catch passes, but there's a lot of changes in terms of where you line up, how you line up, your responsibilities and everything. What's been the biggest adjustment for you getting used to Coach Thatcher's new offense?
It's just blocking schemes, honestly. Last year, a lot of, even though it's zone, the offensive line is a lot more aggressive. And like this year, with like it being wider zones and out of the gun, they have to hold their blocks a little longer. So working on that patience to match up with the O-line's blocks so we can hit holes and score touchdowns has been the biggest adjustment.
That makes sense. And or have you guys been working a lot out of one back sets typically or multiple backs? Kind of, is there like a variation? How are you guys lining up typically?
I'd say probably about even right now. Working one back, two back, but it's still the same fundamentals in both of them.
Makes sense. And you mentioned, the offense is a lot more kind of wide open splits, having to hit the right holes, having to have a lot more patience. Is this more similar to what you did in high school, or did you run more of a flex bone in high school?
So in high school, I played quarterback in a triple option, like pistol. So I relate more to what the quarterbacks are doing right now than the running backs. But at the end of the day, it's all running the ball still, same move, same blocking. So it's just reading the hole, getting in the hole, and scoring touchdowns. So yeah, it's not that much of a difference, but it is different for being like, if we're looking at it, it is my very first time playing shotgun running back. So it's a little different.
Right. And how's the chemistry going with the running backs and the quarterbacks out of the gun in terms of the mesh and some of the other things that are going on with the offense?
I think we're starting to gel. Like we had mesh periods and stuff last year, but obviously it's a different kind of mesh. So working on that, obviously rough the first few days, but I think up to this point we're cutting down the balls on the ground and stuff like that. So I think those mesh periods are really starting to develop a lot better and helping our chemistry with the quarterbacks.
Good. And I've already got some background on this because back in the winter, I spoke with Coach Thatcher and Coach Drinkle, but I know some of the fan base is kind of freaking out a little bit about like, oh, what's going to happen with Tyson Riley and Jacoby Buchanan. So could you talk a little bit about kind of Jacoby's role and what he's been doing as well in the new offense?
Yeah, same thing as me. But
I figured.
Getting the ball, running the ball. I mean, of course, there's going to be an adjustment. Different things that we have to adapt to because we're both heavier backs, which we're working on currently. But it's about not like, will we be playing only running back? I don't know, but the more we're able to learn in the scheme, the more positions we're able to play as in any other offense. So we're working on that. But yeah, Jacoby, we should see Jacoby on Saturday still.
That's what I figured. Kind of to follow up on that, if we talk about the running back room, first of all, went from fullbacks and slot backs to now really you have running backs all under one position grouping. And then, some of the slots became slot receivers. How is that working with kind of you guys all having the same responsibility now? Talk a little bit about some of the younger backs, Markel Johnson, Hayden Reed, some of those guys, how that's been looking in spring practice so far.
Yeah. So our room, I would say at its core is just kind of like the B backs moved over to running back. Of course, we have like Miles Stewart, who is in our room now, Noah Alexander. I think that's all of them. But so we only added two. So it's the same group, but we're still like naturally as close. But yeah, with Markel, we kind of got to see him towards the end last year. To kind of change the pace back, very smooth runner, has a lot of contact balance. And then with Hayden Reed, the young kid, I like what I see him. He's a tough runner. He's very dynamic in the run game. And he's a good blocker. But yeah, adding those pieces, Miles, he's shown some flashes as like a shifty, almost T-Rob-like running back. Yeah, it's good to have those guys in the room to change up the pace to throw the defense to make it harder to stop us.
That's great. And you have a new position coach this year. Darren Page came over from Cincinnati. How's that working out? What has he been able to teach you that maybe or maybe not even teach you something new, but what's he been able to work on that's really improved your game, I guess?
Yeah, just kind of diving deeper into like inside zones. Love Coach Page. Brings a lot of energy. Yeah, you're not going to be asleep in any of his meetings, like awake. But yeah, I like how he gets after it, how he coaches the guys. I think it's similar to like how my coaches coming up, my dad was like just being like loud there, present. I'm always giving feedback. So yeah, it's good to have Coach Page there.
That's awesome. And my final question for you today, Tyson, what's your number one goal in spring practice? Like what would a win look like for Tyson coming out of spring practice?
I think just deepening the room. Like if we're going into the season with 5, 6, 7 backs that, Coach Page, that Coach Thatcher, that Coach Monken all feels comfortable with rotating in and out the game, that like takes the load off each individual back and puts it more on the group. So no one's feeling like too stressed up for games or any of that stuff. So just being able to deepen the room, making sure everyone like is on that level of understanding of the offense where they can play multiple positions, where we can get out on the field and, really put pressure on the defense. So just expanding the room and making sure everyone's caught up on what their responsibilities are.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tyson. Best of success to you the rest of the spring practice and going into the 2023 season.
Thank you.